So I'm going to just get started. I'll just let people in as we go. But I'm Jeannie Ralston from Next Tribe, and I know some of you others are new to me, and I hope that's not going to be that way for long. But I'm so excited to be working with Kiki Keating. I just have to tell you that I got two different people about like within 2 weeks of each other, one in Austin and one in New York City, said, you have to meet Kiki Keating. She does the most amazing trips and you're going to love her, blah, blah, blah. So two different people who didn't even know each other came to me and I'm like, okay, I'm going to meet Kiki. So we talked on the phone several times, we met in person, and I love what Kiki does. Kiki is the most intrepid traveler. I just can't even believe. The other day we talked and she was calling me from Romania and she's like, I've got a great trip planned for Romania. And I'm like, oh my God. So I just want to let what I wanted. So Kiki, as she'll tell you, has been to India many times. And she and I have come in, she's really come to me with the itinerary and we've kind of worked through it together. This is the first time I'm as Next Tribe, we do a lot of trips, but the truth is I usually just go with a trip that I either know I put together myself, or it's somebody else is an expert in that certain area. And so it seems like Kiki's an expert in many areas. So I think we're going to have this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So Kiki, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your travel history and your visits to India?
Sure, but I almost feel like if it's okay with you, I want to hear where everybody else is from and what they do. And then can I go at the end?
Sure, I guess so. Heidi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and let's talk about what interests you about, and Heidi just signed up like an hour ago for the trip. What interests you about the trip and what kind of international or what kind of travel do you do normally?
Well, I'm Heidi Kunz and I live in San Francisco, and I know Kiki because, well, I don't really know her. I've heard of Kiki because my brother has been on one, maybe two trips with her and speaks very highly of her. Over my life, I've done quite a lot of travel. One of the reasons actually I'm interested in this trip is I really want to go to India and my boyfriend won't go. So I am really interested in traveling with women kind of in my age zip code. And trying to do something a bit more adventuresome.
Fabulous.
I mean, I've done anywhere from traditional to very non-traditional travel. So
excellent. Georgiana?
Hi, I'm here in Indianapolis, and one of the things COVID really did for me was it helped me face my mortality. And so I said to myself, how many years have I got left that I'm going to be able to do the kind of traveling? I'm going to have the physical ability to do the kind of traveling I want to do. And that made me realize I got to get going. And so I've been a few places. I've been a number of times to Japan. I was an exchange student there when I was in high school. But I've also since I've been to Scotland, England, Italy, Germany, but not enough, not nearly enough. So this sounds like a really interesting way to go to India. It sounds like a very on the ground, up close and personal to the culture. That was really appealing to me.
Yes, and that's how we. I mean, Next Tribe, we like it that way, and but also I know Kiki does. That's why we're working together. But just really finding ways to get into the culture beyond what you can see if you were going on your own. And also, it's really important for us to meet local women wherever we go. I think that's, especially of our age, I think that's really important. So Kiki and I've talked about that, and she's got all kinds of great things in store. So Emily.
Yes. I live in New York City, and I was introduced to Jeannie to do the Machu Picchu trip, which we completed a year ago, October, which was fantastic. And I tend to gear myself towards more adventure type travel. I just returned from a 2-week trip to Scotland, which included a 6-day biking trip, kind of a self-guided tour, which was amazing. And Jeannie made those connections as well. But I'm retired. I live in New York City. I love fitness. I'm a marathon runner. I do a lot of other activities around training, love to volunteer, help people. And India's always been on my list. I've always I have not been to Asia. I've done a lot of European travel, but I too am very interested in the cultural aspects of India and learning more about that, and visiting with a comfortable group. I know we've all heard horror stories, I'm sure, about certain aspects of traveling in India. So that's what really attracted me to this tour. I haven't totally committed to it yet, just from a timing standpoint, but wanted to join tonight to listen to Kiki's explanation of what she was thinking would be part of the plan. So thank you.
Great. And I'm just going to, Marcy, just say hello. Marcy works with me and is our travel manager. She puts together and keep in contact with you once you sign up, and helps coordinate things. So say hi, Marcy.
Hi, everyone. This is going to be an amazing trip. I've been to India once, and I can't wait to go back another time.
Hey,
Yay.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
glad you're all here. You'll probably be
Thank
hearing a
you.
lot from me on email and
Yes.
on Next Tribe Social and all that. So,
Yes. Thank you.
okay.
Okay, Caroline, can you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit?
Yes, hello. My name is Caroline Armand, and I'm a marine ecologist, conservationist, advocate. And so I do research and education outreach. And so over the years, I've been able to help with research projects around the world, and loved it. But then I realized, traveling on my own a few times, that it wasn't so much fun anymore. So that's why, and reading, Next Tribe, your articles, what have you, and then the travel group, that's what really intrigued me as well. And I do have some questions about the India itinerary. So that's why I'm, thank you for doing this and answering our
Good.
questions.
We will get to those questions for sure. We will not miss that. Okay, let's see, Monique. Can you say where? Oh, I'm sorry, Caroline, where are you from?
Oh, Friday Harbor, Salmon Island, Washington State.
yay.
Oh, nice, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
That sounds beautiful. Okay, Monique.
My name is Monique. Everybody calls me Mo. I've known Kitty for, I guess, over 30 years.
Hi, Mo.
Hi. I'm actually based, I'm from Quebec City, but I'm now living in Montreal, Quebec. And I was supposed to meet up with Kiki in Barcelona, as I was there with one of my sons. And she was so busy entertaining everybody and visiting all kinds of stuff that we missed each other. And then I just got this through, I don't know how, India. And I've traveled, my kids now are all in their 20s, and we travel quite extensively, with our kids being summer sabbaticals in North America, in Europe, and in Asia on different occasions. And, been to Morocco with the kids, a lot of stuff with the kids. The kids now are grown up. And if I go travel with them, it's because I'm paying for the week I'm going to be there with them. So, and I'm not sure, one of my sons has gone to India, but I've never been, and I wasn't ready to go on my own. So this is a great occasion. I love photography. I love walking. I love meeting, discovering new cultures. I love going to the markets. I So this is just new. I figured an hour with Kiki and everybody else, then I'll learn more and decide if I'm jumping in for January 2024, which would be perfect timing.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay, Cindy Gum. Can you, I'll ask you to unmute.
Yeah, thanks. Hi. Hi. Wow. Good to see
Hi.
such a lively group. I'm from the South Bay, a little bit south, Heidi, or is it Heidi? Yeah, from San Francisco. And actually, Georgiana was the one that told me about your tribe. I'm a retired or semi-retired psychotherapist, and I've always said, you know, we're all looking for a tribe. And boy, when you find your tribe, it's really pretty cool, as we all know.
Yay.
So I loved your name. And you know, I mean, not too long ago, a trip to Milpitas would have looked good to me. So that's a little sleepy town next door. I was a caregiver for 15 years to a great guy, but he was pretty disabled. And I traveled in the US with Rhodes Scholar. I like to learn. I like history and culture. And when Georgiana told me about you and this India trip, you know, my curiosity was heightened because I think India is a very experiential kind of trip. And I'm looking into what kind of travel I want, you know, and at this time in my life, I bet I'm older than anyone here. So it's like, I don't have that much time left, guys. So I want to get the most out of it with interesting people. So I'm here to learn and discover if maybe this would be a good fit. So I'm really happy to be here.
Fabulous. Okay, and I'll introduce you to Jeannie Edmonds, who's our Chief Operating Officer. She's not going on the trip, but she does lead trips. Say hi, Jeannie.
Where's Jeannie? Hi, Jeannie.
So upset. Hello. I can't go on this trip. Jeannie and I were going to flip a coin, but actually she's a founder, so she wins. I'm only the COO. But maybe next year, maybe 2025, I'll go on that trip. I will say that I've always wanted to go to India. My first husband went on a 4-month trip there, and traveling around India has so many challenges that I think going with somebody like Kiki would be just phenomenal. And I will say, having been on 2 Next Tribe trips, there is nothing like traveling with a group of women your age. It's just so relaxing. You don't have to shave your legs. You don't have to put on makeup. You don't have to preen for anybody. It's just so freeing. It's the most unbelievable experience. So thank you, Jeannie. And next year, 2025, not next year, the following year.
And I should say that we also travel with women is what I've seen, and Jeannie witnessed this as well, and Kim and Emily, who've been on trips, the community that form, you know, the bonding that forms so quickly because you're kind of a self-selected, like-minded group. You know, the fact that you've chosen to do this, and I call people who go on our trips, you know, and people who like Next Tribe, I call them yes women, because we're kind of, yes, I'll do it, yes. So that kind of enthusiasm I see a lot, and that makes for a lot of bonding pretty quickly. So, and that's a huge plus for on any of these trips. So Elaine, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Great. Thank you. My name is Elaine and I'm living here in Seattle. And I kind of impulsively, with a little bit of thought, but mostly impulsively, signed up for this and committed because I was reading Abraham, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Abraham Verghese's book, Covenant of Water. You know, it's a 700-page book. I was about 3/4 of the way through it, and I'm not a speed reader, but I was totally captured by this book, this 700-page book. And about 3/4 of the way through it, I get the Next Tribe email that they're going to India and they're going to the same region that he is talking about in this book. And I thought, this is the universe talking to me that I need to go and see this part of the world and have this experience, having just read about it in this book, this epic story.
And you signed up like right then. Like right away.
Exactly. Yes, I did. Well, first I consulted with my sister who's traveled the world and had been to India. And she was like, Elaine, in a heartbeat, you need to do this. And
Oh.
you should try to extend your trip so you can see just a few more things. But unfortunately, I won't have the time to do that. I'm going to be committed to just.
Which part was the author in at the time? Was he up in Pondicherry or?
Carol, is that Carola? Is that
Carola.
right? Carola, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I work at a wine tasting bar just for fun. And one of our bar flies is from India, the next province over. And he's this tiny, short little 70-year-old, 72-year-old man from India. And I think he has a little bit of a crush on me. Okay. Anyways, I was telling him about the book I was reading and that then I'm now signed up for this trip, and he's just over the moon about how, and so excited for me to do this trip and have this experience. So, and then there were two women from India that were in the tasting room, and I told them where, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful part. And they were giving me a list of all the things I need to do. So you can tell I'm very, very excited.
Yay.
I'm also, truth be told, anxious because of all the things we would normally be anxious about going to India. So this is such a great opportunity, and I'm so grateful that I can be part of it.
Fabulous. Yay, Elaine. So Kim, do you want to unmute?
Yeah, how's that? Did that work? You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kim, and I live in New York City, and I've been to a lot of the trips that Jeannie has done for Next Tribe, the Charleston trip, the San Miguel trip, and Troncones. I go every year, try to, except this past year when I had to have my hip done. And Jeannie makes everything super smooth. Everything's taken care of. You can do things and feel very held and supported, and yet individual. You know, if you needed to, you know, I don't know how India is going to be, but, you know, with Troncones, we have like a little downtime if you need it. And then you've got this great group of women that you totally immediately connect with. So it's pretty amazing. India's on my bucket list, has been for some time. I was supposed to go last April for a sort of a work thing. I also teach yoga, and I was supposed to go sort out a training situation there and stay in an ashram. And again, I had just had my hip done. So I thought, I don't think now's the time to go. And I needed it to be where I knew I was in a group and, you know, embraced and held and supported and, you know, in that safety of the Next Tribe bosom. So there's that. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what the trip's all about. I'm exploring options of going, and we'll see. So excited to be here tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Kim. And Vanessa, you look like you're driving. Can you talk or not? Don't talk if it's not safe.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I am driving. I'm at a red light. I'm about to stop. I'm not sure if I'll make the trip just because the dates I think are right before Cuba, and I'm going to Cuba, which I'm super excited about. Going to Cuba with Next Tribe, I should add. But I'm intrigued by India, and especially as this is a different region from the usual touristy spots. So yeah, love to hear about it. I've done trips before, San Miguel, and I hate group travel, but I love Jeannie's Next Tribe travels. So
Oh, thanks, Vanessa. That's so sweet.
no, and you just have a way of attracting a group of just amazing women every time. I live in Austin, Texas, but I don't think I know anybody on the call. And this is where Next Tribe started, and I'm pretty active in our local Next Tribe, what do you call it, chapter? I don't know, little group.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've met my tribe. I've been here 5 years and finally met people, and Jeannie's our common denominator. And it's of course I know the other Jeannie, she's on this call.
Yes, the Jeannies are
the other J,
well,
J1 and
great.
J2. But yes, I'm excited to hear about it. So
Yeah.
that's me.
Cool. And Betsy, can you unmute? Are you able to chat, or are you just listening in?
I've just unmuted her. Well, I asked her to unmute.
She
You know
might.
Betsy?
Yes, I do. We're friends from high school. So
Oh my
if you are able to get on later, just pop your cute little face up and we'll introduce you too.
So, well, yeah, what I thought now, Kiki, if you want to talk a little bit about your India experience and why you chose this part of India, and then
Sure.
we'll get to answering questions.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to tell you everything that's going to make you feel like, okay, I'm not anxious at all. I want to do this. I've been to India 16 times. I love India, and I've been all around the world. And people often ask me, what's your favorite place? And I really love and enjoy being in the moment in every place I am. But my mind always in the back of my mind. So I never say that I have one favorite place because I love a lot of different places. But there's something so special about India, which I'll be telling you about. But I was the communications director at Dartmouth. Dartmouth has a business school called Tuck. And so for 15 years, I worked with a very innovative and very cool dean who wanted to double the size of the school and make us international and put us a little bit more on the map. And so I traveled extensively with him. And the research I had to do for each trip and the research I had to do to meet the media there and to set up alumni dinners and to meet prospective students, it all just was something I came to really love because I'd be meeting these amazing people from different cultures. And every culture has people are nice all around the world. And it is intimidating until you go somewhere and then you realize, oh my gosh, they're just people. They dress differently, they speak differently, they have different foods. But for all of us who are well educated and have traveled either a little bit or a lot, it's learning that culture and tasting that food and embracing those people and meeting women like us who are doing other kinds of work, whether they're weavers or making wine or cooking, teaching us how to cook. So I just came to love it. And I decided to start bringing small groups and started with friends to exciting places and making sure that, some of them had really never traveled and making sure that everything was set up. I think Jeannie and I are going to be a dream team because I always go on my trips because I want to make sure everybody's happy and everything's taken care of and every room is great. And especially in India, I work ahead of time with the restaurants and chefs and say, we're from America, we need things prepared specially. When you go to so that's my thing. I love connecting people. I love the friendships, like some of you have talked about, that come out of a small group being on a trip, exploring together. You have lots of time in the evenings to be sipping wine and talking and sharing. So it's just a lot of fun, and friends tend to want to have reunions and come back on other trips and stay connected. So it really is a next tribe kind of thing, really fun. One thing I decided I wanted to do, and I learned from doing all the work I was doing at the business school, is that I would see these high-end trips, and there are a lot of great companies that do high-end trips, many of them. So Abercrombie and Kent or Indigari or some of the beautiful trips you see, and they're $11,000 or $12,000 or more. And my goal was to do something for my friends that was equally luxurious in many of the same places, if not exactly the same places, for almost half. So I want to go through like some of the things about this trip. The value for money is huge. I don't have a huge overhead or a huge office. I have a small staff. I live out of my beautiful place in New Hampshire, which I love. But I just don't have, a big office building in New York where or 100 people that I have to pay. And so the cost doesn't have to be so high. So the price you're getting on this trip is really extraordinary for where we're going to be going and how much we're going to be doing. It's 13-day trip. Normally, a 6-day trip might cost, or a 7-day trip might cost something like this. So love the value for money. The food is truly amazing. We're going to a beautiful part of India. We've written on the itinerary, it's the Malabar coast, but we're also going to be on the Coromandel coast. So we're starting up in Chennai, and I'll go through the itinerary with you if you have questions. A lot of India has been colonized, and there's still beautiful, beautiful places. where you can see the British influence, the French and Portuguese and Dutch, and even some Chinese influence. So we're visiting a lot of these cities, and then some of the beautiful old ancient untouched cities that no foreigners came in and touched, with temples from 1,000 years ago. Just beautiful, beautiful places. So back to the food. Usually with every hotel, you're going to have a big choice of breakfasts. It's not always going to be Indian food for breakfast, although you'll have your Indian choices. You can always have your fresh fruit, your cereals, your coffee. And then we'll get a little bit more adventurous as you want to be, but the food is delicious. So if you've ever been to a really good Indian restaurant, we're going to have vegetarian options. We're going to be on the coast a lot, so a lot of fresh fish. They do some really amazing curries and chicken tandoors. And so it can be as spicy or as non-spicy as you want. So we'll have choices all along, and you can ask me questions about the food. I know sometimes people don't think they can take, 12 or 13 days away. And I always try to do trips where there's a weekend on each side. But if you're going to a place as far away as Africa or India or Asia, I really recommend spending a little more than 7 or 8 days. And this trip from start to finish, so from the time you fly out to the time you get home, will be 13 days, 12 nights. It's a perfect little time for India. We're going to be so excited and seeing so many things, and we'll have some downtime and we'll have plenty of time to sleep. But I think you probably won't even worry about jet lag, maybe the first couple of days. I don't even feel it anymore. So time-wise, that's, you can ask me questions about that, but I always think just to kind of get settled in and enjoy and see all the places we want to see. And then Elaine, if you do want to go on, or anybody else, I think you guys all, maybe some of you know Marjorie Dorr. She's part of Next Tribe in Austin, and she's done a couple India trips with me. But at the end of one of them, she wanted to continue. So I'll help her find places she might want to go. And so if you want to go early or stay after, I can give you some advice and maybe help set it up for you.
And Kiki, can you, when we were talking initially about India, you had the idea that this would be a great place to start this trip. What about this region and that made you think this is a great, I think you said this is a great place for people who've never been to India, and also for people who've been to India, but it offers a lot in either case.
Right. So I think a lot of people have seen movies like Slumdog Millionaire and maybe other movies of India where you're just seeing the crazy busyness and the craziness of the cities and things like that. We're going to be in sleepier places and beautiful places. So I think for our first trip, we'll have a little bit of city life in Chennai, but then we're really in smaller towns, and you'll be very surprised how we're on the beach, we're on the coast, it's peaceful. Like Kerala is just absolutely clean and beautiful, and the people there take really good care of their properties. And we'll be walking up in the rainforest and visiting a spice, learning about spices that we can purchase from the market and take home with us, and riding elephants. And so it's off the beaten path. It's not immersed in the cities, although I love my city tours as well. If you start in Delhi and you do other things, or there's tours through Mumbai or Jaisalmer. But this is a great trip for the first time. You'll see a lot of beautiful areas. We're covering some good ground. We'll see beautiful temples. So I think it's a great way to start. It's a little bit quieter.
So, Elaine, I think Elaine, you're writing your messages just to me. So I'm going to, Elaine wants to know if we will be visiting an ashram.
That's an option. And I believe we'd be visiting the ashram near Pondicherry. That's one of the things we can do that day.
Yeah, you have one of the days that we have several different options. There's quite a few. And that's beautiful, because I think Kiki has kept, we talked about it, and Kiki has kept some of those days open for what people on the trip want to do. Once we get our trip group together, it's
Yeah,
some of the
there's a
things that we
pretty
can kind of
famous
feel out, like,
ashram.
okay,
You may have heard of it. It's called Oroville, but they also do and make some beautiful things. So we can go, they make beautiful papers for gift wrapping and book covers and products like lampshades and artworks. So if we want to go out there and see the ashram and visit their visitor center, we can see some of the works that they do as well.
Can you
Elaine?
spell that?
Yeah, it's AUROVILLE.
V as in Victor,
As in Ville. Yeah, Oroville.
ROVILLE.
AUROVILLE.
Thank you.
That's an ashram.
There's also a monastery, a nunnery, where the sisters make these beautiful linens, like hand woven designs on it. I took Heidi's brother Peter there with our group in Pondicherry, and they're going to either stay open late for us or open special for us, so we can go in and see them working. The sisters are there making their beautiful linens and napkins and tablecloths and things. And we've got a couple of, if some of us want to go to one place and some of us want to go to another that afternoon, we can talk about that.
And let's see, also, the actual start day of the start day of the actual tour is the, now I've got to call it up.
January 24th is when we'd fly out.
That's when we leave the US, January 24th. If I were to arrive a day or two early to adjust, where would you recommend to stay? I think, Elaine, that's a good question. I think Kiki can definitely have, maybe what I do on trips is usually the same hotel that we are going to stay at once the trip starts. I talk to them about extending the rate for the people who come early. So is that something that we could possibly do?
Absolutely. I can help you. Sometimes I'll recommend doing depending where you'd be flying through, because you'd probably be flying through unless you do a straight from New York. We'll have to look at the different flights from the cities you're going in. And I can help, every single one of you say, okay, take this direct if you can, or if it's going through Frankfurt or London or something like that. Sometimes it's nice to spend a day or two in Frankfurt or London. You're more comfortable there because it's not a completely new culture, and get kind of over your jet lag there, and then make that last leg of the journey. So you're meeting us all in India or Africa or wherever it is. Otherwise, you're in India without a tour guide, not knowing where to go in that city. I'll talk to you individually and see kind of what you're looking to do and where you're looking to go, because you could fly into a place like Mumbai or Delhi, or you might want to stop on your way in the city that would be your natural layover anyway.
Okay.
And Elaine asked what the minimum number of travelers is 10. So, we'd really like to get signups. Also, the price that we have right now is the early bird price. So I think you would, by the end of the month, up until July 31st. So, please, if you're thinking of it, this is a good time to do it.
So there has to be 10 women that sign up for this in order for it to go.
Yes.
Okay. How many are actually signed up?
We have 2, but we have lots of you who are, you and Heidi. Yeah.
I mean, we would like 10, but I think we could do it. If we have 8 people signed up, I'm not going to not go on this trip.
Can
right,
we do it with 4? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Elaine, I don't think you're going to have to worry.
Okay.
At all.
Okay, good.
This is our first phone call, and it's July.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you have no worries. This is
Okay.
going to fill and overbook.
Oh, good.
And then we're going to have to do another one so that anybody on this call who can't make it this year can make it next year. So.
But next year might be a different part of India. We don't know. We're keeping that option open, right?
Or Africa.
Or
India
Africa.
2.0.
Yeah, or both. And I have to say about Caroline, a National Geographic photographer. This India was his absolute favorite country of all, like 85 countries he'd been to working, and Kerala was the absolute favorite part of India. So take that, Rob. I'm gonna get there finally. Anyway, so that's the deal. Let's see what other questions do people have here about the trip. Emily, do you have any questions?
I mean, while you're thinking of questions,
do you want to do a quick buzz through the itinerary, or you already
Yeah,
have?
I think that would be helpful. I don't know if I completely missed the itinerary, but I'm just curious how many places we'll actually be staying at and sort of how the transportation works and all that.
so I will have one beautiful Mercedes Sprinter van with a private driver for the entire time. So we have one certified, qualified, well-tested, tried and true, wonderful driver who can drop us off wherever we need, pick us up whenever we want. No cabs. I mean, there's some cities where we might be like, let's take a tuk-tuk, because it's really, really fun to do that around Pondicherry or some of these places. The tuk-tuks are like little mini golf carts, and your drivers are hilarious and fun. They're safe, and it's an easy, quick way to get back from a restaurant if we stay late. But I love that. I do that on all my trips, have a private van, a private driver, everything set. What was your other question?
Oh, just how many different hotels would we be staying
So
at?
I like to always stay 2 nights in one place. I just think it's nice. I'm going to recommend, even though it seems silly, but maybe you guys travel as much as I do. If there's a way to pack in a carry-on and then bring a backpack and a purse, that really works. It's easy. It's going to be warm, so you don't have to bring winter things. You don't have to bring a big raincoat or rain pants. Like I just did a hiking trip to Ireland, and you never knew if it was going to be cold or hot, and you needed rain stuff. So I had to pack more than, I still crammed it in a carry-on, but we'll talk about clothing and stuff too. And we will also be, you might want to bring an expandable bag, because we're going to be going to beautiful places where you can buy shawls and hand knit things and linens. You can either have them shipped home, or you may want to, oftentimes I'll just buy another suitcase when I'm somewhere and find beautiful things. But so 2 nights in every place except for 1 night on our way to Madurai. We're stopping in a really cool place, and I wanted to just stop there, but it wasn't worth spending 2 nights.
Do you want me to share my screen so I can go through the itinerary? Let me do that. And here is, does everybody see this? So here is, I could make it full screen if I, but I don't know what I'm doing here. Anyway, so here is the first day is that we fly into Chennai, and this part was already mostly about Kiki. I wanted to introduce her, but this will be an easy day to recover, and there's not a lot planned at first. So this
we
is
have to look at your tickets, because it's very likely that you'll be arriving very late at night. So that's
right.
why I just want the night, even if you're getting in at midnight or whatever, you'll have your beautiful hotel to go to and sleep. And we're giving you an easy morning the next day. We don't start until about 11 the next morning, and we'll do a beautiful walk about to just see Chennai's Mylapore neighborhood. We'll learn about a little bit about India, hear stories about gods and demons. I'll probably send you all a little book before our trip to learn about. There's hundreds of gods and demons, and it's kind of fun to hear the stories, because we'll see them displayed in sculptures on temples and things like that. And we'll just get a relaxed day of understanding customs and traditions. We'll learn about the architecture. That's there's a little bit of old British. There's an old British fort there. There's some beautiful churches, and we'll learn about that colonial period, and check out Fort St. George and have a nice little driving tour. There's a beautiful beach. We'll stop at a cool place for coffee and snacks. and then come back to the hotel for dinner.
Okay,
And
so
then
Georgiana has her hand up. What, Georgiana? Okay.
I was just going to ask, when you were talking about clothing and stuff, I was just going to ask kind of what the weather is going to be like: hot, cold, rainy, steamy, cool, you know, that.
yeah, it's a very nice time of year for us to be going, because it's not hot and steamy. It's not that huge, crazy hot season. It'll be beautiful. So it should be in the 70s. And I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive as we get a little bit closer. But I think you're going to be fine with like some linens, light shirts. In India, it's safer for women to wear longer skirts or long flowy pants, and we don't show a lot of leg or wear shorts like that. Like short, I mean, even Bermuda shorts, you can if you want, and people have gotten much more used to it, but it's nice. I love wearing my long flowy stuff if you've got a longer dress. And then, you know, a sweater or a shawl is probably fine. So I'll give you guys a very good report at least a month and a half in advance when we see what's going on with the crazy climate change weather. But it's a great time to go. And we're in the South. So you don't want to go in the summer when it's super hot. It'll be nice and cool.
So we have the day, one day, it's just so light because people will be getting it at different times, but this is really the first day, right, of activities, walking. And then the next day we transport to Pondicherry.
Yeah, that's a beautiful drive. We're going to leave in the morning. And we're going to stop and visit a cool place called Dakshina Chitra Heritage Museum. So we'll have a nice tour there. It's a living museum of art, architecture, lifestyles, crafts, and performing arts. So we can walk around, and they have buildings of different styles that we can visit, and our guide will be able to tell us all about that. We'll have lunch, and we'll visit a beautiful place called Mahabalipuram. It's an ancient carved, I've got lots of other pictures I can show you, but beautiful carvings out of the soapstone and sandstone, and we'll get a beautiful guided tour about the different areas of Mahabalipuram. And then once we've relaxed and had a little bit of a break, we'll head on to Pondicherry. We're staying at a really pretty place in Pondicherry, and we'll get there early evening, and we can walk into town. It's only about 900 meters. So we can walk into town, and we'll do dinner at the hotel that night. So if people just want to chill and relax at the hotel, we can settle in. And if anybody wants to walk into town and check it out, they can with me. So that's the first night in Pondicherry. The second day is our day where we're going to walk around, get a beautiful walk, explore the town. It's a beautiful little French enclave. If you haven't seen or read The Life of Pi, this is the town that Life of Pi started in, with the family circus that got on the boat and started the voyage that turned into a shipwreck.
And that's why I put this picture up from The Life of Pi.
Yeah.
Pondicherry.
So Ang Lee based himself out of there while he was researching where to do his film shoots and things. And I know the man that's like at the Historical Archaeological Center. I'm going to try to have him give us a little walking tour too. He's very nice. It's beautiful. I mean, it really looks like a little French village, and they're great little markets and clothing stores and churches. And so we'll have a beautiful little walkabout. And then we have a choice in the afternoon of some interesting things to do. So we'll also have dinner at a French restaurant in town that I love, that's run by a great group.
And the next day is
day we head to Tanjore, and we're going to visit a beautiful little temple town. And I've been there, and it's a really beautiful ancient temple. And they have this, I'll let the local people tell you about the myth that if you walk around, what happens, you get, special luck, and you can, it's called, they say it breaks your anxiety. So if anybody's anxious or can't sleep or whatever, you do this little walk, and it's just, they have all sorts of little stories and myths and things, but it's Gangacholapuram. We'll visit that, which will be great. We'll have a vegetarian lunch en route. And then when we get to Tangier, we're going to see a technique demonstration of the painting that they do with inlaying gemstones. And we'll see a bronze casting demonstration. So we're going to see a few artists. And then we're going to have a cooking class, which will be great to learn about the Tamil cuisine that we're going to be tasting. And we get to do sort of I don't even want to tell you about the surprise that evening, but it involves dressing up for dinner, and it's going to be really fun.
Yay. I love this photo. So
yeah. Well, that's the only place where we just spend one night because it's just such a beautiful spot. We're going to have so much fun that evening. The next morning, we'll wake up and head off. And it's our drive to Madurai. And Madurai is very, very famous for its gorgeous temples. They're all painted, all different colors with all the deities and gods on the outside, just stacked up. I think we have a picture of one of the temples.
This way, can you see that temple?
That's a different temple. This is the temple I'm talking about. Let's see if I can see that temple there. They rise high. They're super beautiful. They're all painted and gorgeous colors, and it's just breathtaking. We're going to stop at a family of weavers in Karaikudi. It's a family of weavers where the women are the ones weaving, and it's about 6 generations. So we'll meet the grandma, the daughter, the new little girl. The daughter is the one that speaks English the best, but the grandma will be there too. And then the grandma's also like 3rd generation. So it's really interesting. We can look around at the weavers. We can buy materials. You could buy a big swath of material. Marjorie and I split a beautiful swath of silk that I came back and my mom made a dress for herself out of it. It's just gorgeous. So they make beautiful, beautiful things we can check. We'll have a special lunch at the Heritage Hotel that we're visiting along the way. And then we'll get to Madurai and visit this very famous, beautiful temple. And then we'll have some time back at the hotel. And if anybody wants to go out later, I think it's at 9 o'clock at night, we can go out after dinner. And there's an evening lighting ceremony that's really beautiful where they put the god to bed every night. So I'm going to go if anybody wants to go with me to the evening ceremony. It's a lot of candles and special lighting and things. It's fun to not miss that. And it won't be too late. Then Madurai the next day. We're going to get up not too early, but we want to get out the door around 9:15, and we're going to visit the flower markets, and it's really spectacular. You see all these people bringing all these gorgeous flowers in, so many. You can't believe that they get used or sold. But at many of the hotels, you're going to get wreaths of flowers around your neck, almost like Hawaii when you arrive, or you'll get flowers in your room. So we'll see these beautiful, beautiful flowers coming in. That's really fun. And we'll visit a palace, a 17th century palace from the former rulers of Madurai. And there's a beautiful museum there. So it's fun to kind of pop into the museums and see some of the older things and get a little bit of a talk about history. Then if we feel like it ahead of time, we can book spa activities at the hotel and just chill that afternoon and get a massage. And if anyone is interested, we're going to walk through the spice market in the evening. That's really fun too. Just piles of beautiful, colorful spices. We can smell them and taste them and buy some to take home. And we'll do a really fun dinner that night at a different local restaurant.
Sorry, I got ahead of you. Okay.
Any questions?
Okay.
So then we're going from Madurai to Periyar. And now we're really getting remote and up into the rainforest, which is gorgeous. Periyar is known for having tigers, and I'm not sure this is the season for tigers, but we may see some, which would be beautiful. We're going to do a nature walk with a local forest guide in Periyar National Park. I love that. That's something, Heidi, I did with your brother, and he said, "Are you doing that again? Make sure you do that again." And you go on a beautiful boat. So we'll have a lovely time in the park. And then we're going to go see an exhibition of the oldest martial arts in the world that evening. And that's a beautiful demonstration of dance and martial arts. So we'll be in Periyar. The next day, we'll be doing boating on that lake. We'll look at the tiger reserve. We'll see a herd of elephants. We'll see deer. They're all common sights that we'll see on our boat trip, which will be beautiful. We also may see wild boar. So it's fun being on the boat. Do you have a question, Elaine? Oh, no.
No.
Okay. So let's see.
So this is the day that we have lots of, we can go to a tea plantation or a Jeep safari.
I think that is, yep, that afternoon. I think we're going to take the Jeep safari off the itinerary because it's a really long drive to get there, and then a long safari, so you'd miss the whole morning and everything. I think it's just going to be much more relaxing to do the tea plantation visit because we'll have a lovely morning, a really fun lunch, and then a beautiful afternoon. We'll explore the tea plantation. We'll see how tea's made. We can buy the different teas if we want. And it's a huge history there. And we'll have also seen the spice plantations and be able to, learn about some of the spices. So the next day, we're going to head to the backwaters on our way to Kerala. So these are the beautiful backwaters. We're going to stay in Marari. We will get to this beautiful thatched houseboat and take a 4-hour ride on the rivers. It's like the Venice of India. There's just a whole network of rivers, and the houseboats you can rent for 2 or 3 nights and spend the night on them and go on longer trips. But we'll see a beautiful piece of the riverways with a 4-hour ride and a beautiful lunch. And we'll get to see a lot of beautiful things along the river, which is lovely. And then that evening, see Marari, we'll end up in a beautiful resort called Marari. So after our lovely meal, we'll drive to the resort, check in, and we'll have a little seaside village experience. And the rest of the day, we'll have free to explore at the resort and relax and chill after a pretty busy week so far. The next morning here at Marari, we'll do yoga at the hotel. We'll visit a farmhouse where we'll do a cooking demonstration where we learn how to cook and have a nice lunch. We can go on a farm walk with any of the family and learn about farming below lake level. We'll learn about the crops that are cultivated, and we can get an Ayurvedic massage if we want that afternoon. And there'll be a special dinner there at the farmhouse as well.
Okay, hold on. Monday.
Yep. And then the next day we go into Cochin. Cochin is a very beautiful city in Kerala. We'll get a tour of the part by walk and part by tuk-tuk. It was formerly a princely state, which beckoned to travelers from distant shores, a big trading center. It's also known that town's also known as the Queen of the Arabian Sea. So we'll do some sightseeing and we'll go to the Dutch palace that was built by the Portuguese. We'll visit the Jewish synagogue and the famous Jew Street. We'll go to St. Francis's Church where Vasco da Gama was buried. And we'll see these beautiful Chinese fishing nets all along the shore. And we'll visit the spice stores near the Jewish synagogue. So we'll also have a beautiful lunch at Fort Cochin, which is beautiful. And then in the evening, we're going to see a special Kathakali dance drama, which is really fun. And depending on your flights, they'll either leave very late that night or very early the following morning. So we've got the hotel in Cochin so that we can check in and take showers and, you know, do whatever we need before dinner. If you are leaving later that night, we'll get you after the dance show out to the airport. And if you are leaving really early in the morning, we'll have our drivers waiting to take you for whatever times your flights are. So that's why I'll work individually with each of you to see what flights you want. So it's a big mix of history, culture, temples, colonialism, seeing the different towns that were colonized by French or Portuguese or British, seeing the ancient old untouched Indian temples, learning. We have 2 different cooking classes and a lot of local different tradespeople and women talking to us. So I think it'll be a really rich and varied experience. And we're giving you a little time to relax too.
Yes, I like the spa and the massages and the body treatments. There's also on the I'm going to put in here again where you see this. Oops, sorry. Let me get this back. But I'm going to put a link in so you can, just to remind you where you go to see everything, you know, this itinerary. You can download the brochure if you haven't already. You can also see, we have links to all the hotels, so you can see that the kind of hotels we're staying at are, you know, really fabulous hotels. And we're about out of time, but I wanted to see if there was any other questions. Like, and the other thing is, Kiki, can I put your email in as well?
Please, please, please. My website is kikinetwork.com/travel. So you can see, of course, I've got this trip up too, but I'll be putting other pictures and you know, this same itinerary, but my version of it up. So you can just see it and print it out if you want.
I put her email. You can, and you can copy me and the other person. You can copy.
I'll put my website here too.
Okay. And then also Marcy is at travel@nexttribe.com. So if you want to include us all in case it's something that, you know, one or the other can answer. And if you don't mind, I was going to do this just because it's so helpful for me, because I think these little, now I can't find it. These little Zoom calls, I hope they're as helpful to you. But I want to do a little poll, but of course now I can't find my poll. I just wrote a poll. She was here while I wrote it.
I guess one thing I wanted to say is, I do think it is intimidating to go to a new country where you've heard a lot of things, or you might think it would be difficult to go. I think it's great to go with a small group of wonderful people where everything is taken care of for you. And I have always heard at the end of my trips, thank you so much. Every day was better than the last. We weren't even sure what to expect, but everything's taken care of. Like, you don't have to worry about where to go to eat or what to do or what time you're waking up or the rides, or everything's planned beautifully. And we've planned in downtime, we've planned in fun time. If you're like me and you just are having so much fun, you want to stay up a little bit, we'll stay up and have a glass of wine. If you need your sleep, you're free to go to bed early. If you want to get up earlier than the time we've got to be setting off and take a morning walk, I'm game to do that. So you have some freedom, but everything's planned, and anything that you might be feeling anxious about, I've thought through on the 16 times I've been, and I've never been sick, and I love it. And we're going to beautiful, safe areas with wonderful people. We're meeting lovely people. Almost everyone that I've taken to India has come back again. And I can tell you a couple of stories. One of my friends fell so in love with India that she funded a project during COVID where one of our guides took people from his local village and they built a gorgeous boat. And I just took the maiden voyage on that boat with Marjorie Dorr and her family. because now they're giving boat tours down the Brahmaputra River in Assam. And my girlfriend from Paris funded it because she fell in love with India, and she goes all the time now, and she's doing little projects. Another time I took a group up to Jaisalmer, and we helped to fund the girls' school there. And if you want to just Google girls' school in Jaisalmer, it's won numerous architectural awards. It's a gorgeous place. That's a place, if we do another trip to India, that I will certainly take you. But you're going to fall in love with the people, and you may meet one of these NGOs or weaving centers where you think, oh, maybe I could do something to help them. Or it's not just about going and seeing stuff like it would be if you went to New York City or something. It's a whole experience. And I walk away from India each time loving it more. And I've never, ever felt unsafe. And you're with a group where there's no way you can be unsafe. So if
Kiki,
that
can I
hasn't-
ask you a question that may
Yes.
be on other people's minds? 3 questions come to mind.
Sure.
One is, are there cobblestones? So what kind of shoes should you have? Number 2, will you be sleeping under mosquito nets? And do you need like malaria medication? And number 3, what should you do to make sure that you're healthy while you're there?
Yes. So I will also send, I believe it's up on the website, but I'll also send you always, no matter where you go in the world, should go to your travel clinic at your local hospital. So I always go to Dartmouth Hitchcock. They know me well, of course, by now. And I say, I'm going here. What shots do I need? You'll want to get yellow fever. You'll want to be boosted on, make sure you've got your tuberculosis. There's a few little vaccinations you probably already had as a kid, and you just want to see that you're vaccinated for that. I don't think we're in malaria zones, or that it's a time that it would be for malaria. But I will double check. And if we are, then you'll just want to take this medication that you take a couple days before you go and every day while you're there. And it's perfectly safe and doesn't give you any side effects or anything. The places we're staying, I've never needed mosquito nets. I don't think we'll need mosquito nets. And as far as shoes, I think pretty much anywhere you go, you probably are going to want to wear really comfortable walking shoes. So you can wear open-toed sandals if you want. I'd bring a pair of sneakers just for walking around Mahabalipuram and places like that. Just good, sensible walking shoes. There will be some streets where there might be cobblestones, like in Pondicherry or Cochin. But for the most part, you should be pretty, you're not going to bring spike high heels on this trip. We'll leave that for Paris.
Not even in Paris. We don't recommend it in Paris.
Yeah.
Cindy Gump, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had a question about travel insurance and flight arrangements. I'm coming from the West Coast, so I'll be looking at that. And also, do we do our own travel insurance and flight? And then we would need to know how to coordinate the arrival and departure times and dates, because, you know, anyway, that kind of thing. And then also, just because of my age, is there pretty good medical care if something happens along the way? I'm not expecting anything, but just because I'm older, it's like.
Great questions.
Yeah.
I'll map out the hospitals that are near each one of our cities, and the Indian hospital care is fantastic. And
I don't
depending,
need to know them. I mean, I just want to know that on the ground, you know, if there's an accident for any of us, I mean, anybody can, you know, have something happen. So it sounds like that is okay. You're confident with that, and that's fine.
yes, and travel insurance is required and really, really smart. And I'll give you a couple of options.
Wondering who
Yeah, so you want to just get full coverage and make
Yep.
sure that you're covered with insurance. As
Yeah.
far as the flights, because people are coming from so many different places, and because some people want to go business class, and
Yeah,
some people
that's
want to
right,
go
yeah.
first class, and some people want to just go the cheapest way they can, and some people have miles.
Right.
I just want to work with each of you and we'll explore together and make sure that we all arrive on the 25th.
Okay, so we work with you, Kiki. You're the one that
Yeah.
does the, okay, thank you. I think that, yeah.
Good questions. So if you have other questions, you you have Kiki's email, I think you have mine. And now before we go, I'm gonna put a little a poll up here and see if you can see it. 3 questions, just so we can get an idea. Do you see it? Does everybody see it?
Yep.
If you can answer, so I mean, if you don't want to answer, don't. But it helps us because we want to make sure that what we do on these Zoom calls, I think they're pretty unique. I don't know, to let you know before you sign up a lot of these things that
And if we haven't answered all your questions, please email me. I'll get on a private Zoom with you. I'll, happy to chat. And if there's something else that you have a hesitation around, text or call me. I'd be really, really happy to talk you through whatever you're feeling. But
I know
for
Eva's
me, Jeannie, I'm sure we're going to have an absolute blast.
We are, and I'm excited too because I've spent the night in the New Delhi airport by myself one night, but I don't count that as going to India. So
You guys, I'm so happy to see all of you there. I'm really, really happy that 2 of you fabulous ladies have already signed up. We're going to have this full in no time, and it's going to be really fun. So we'll get on another Zoom call too as we get closer.
yes, we'll definitely do more Zoom calls. And remember, if you're going to sign up, please do it before the July 31st, because this is early bird pricing. So I want that. Anyway,
And don't book your airfare until we tell you that the trip is full.
And you'll also be working with Kiki on your air.
You got it.
And that's, guys, do you understand how unbelievable that is, that kind of service to get you help with your air? I don't know any other tour operators that do that, to be honest. So anyway.
Make sure you're great. Okay, thanks, Jeannie.
Thank
you have
you
a great dinner party.
Thank you so much.
All soon.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.